We love stories about preserving parts of Maine's history, and this one is a good one. We've lost many of the beautiful old buildings that graced our cities and towns. Just think of the elegant old train stations in Portland and Bangor, and countless old mills or other landmarks that have crumbled away. But in Gardiner, they are celebrating one that's been saved and made beautiful again. 207's Don Kerrigan is here with that story. Hey, Don.
Yeah, this has been fun to see. We've reported before about Johnson Hall in downtown Gardiner, an old place from the mid-1800s that was at risk of falling apart. But a lot of people, a lot of money, and a lot of hard work have made it live again. Johnson Hall has stood on this street for 160 years. Now polished up outside and inside positively gleaming.
It's remarkable.
Astounding.
Yeah, every square inch of this building got redone, and it has exceeded our expectations.
To really understand what's happened here, you have to look back.
If you don't want me.
Just 2.5 years ago, musician Pat Caldwell played for us in a bare and time-worn hall. Johnson Hall had started life as a stable beside a fancy hotel with a hall upstairs. Then in the 1880s, it became an elegant opera house.
People used to come up from Boston regularly on the train to see shows.
Then transformed to a movie house, and then in the 1950s, nothing. The hall sat empty for more than 30 years until some local performers bought it in the 1980s and did enough repairs to put on shows. But the old opera house still needed serious help.
The front of this stage, the opening of this stage, is almost exact from when it was an opera house back in the late 1800s.
10 years ago, Michael Micklin, who at one time had performed on this stage, took over as executive artistic director. He led the planning, the fundraising, and inspiring of volunteers and donors to what Johnson Hall could be.
So I've stood on this stage 1,000 times and imagined what this space could be. So now to walk in here and have it be done and have it be just gorgeous and beyond my wildest dreams, it is powerful every time I come in here.
It was not easy. They needed $6 million to do the work and raised it, hired the contractors, then price increases took over.
But then between the pandemic, the workforce shortages, inflation, supply chain issues, truthfully, the war in Ukraine actually hurt us with the steel, because that's where a lot of steel is done. So all those factors just elevated the costs more and more and more to the point where we hit 9.2 and change.
But they started work and kept going. Donors donated again. And $1.6 million in federal COVID relief money was a huge boost. For 2 years, construction took Johnson Hall apart and put it back together while preserving the history, like the old windows and the elegant old stage.
This is a recreation, this is original, and this is original.
The first time you came in and it was done and you looked at it.
Oh my gosh, it was incredible, absolutely incredible.
Then they installed a high-end sound system in the old hall to go with very modern acoustic design. Derek Rowe, who played for us, was brought in to make it all work.
This is going to be one of the most state-of-the-art theaters out there.
And after years without one, there is even a balcony. It's interesting. It seems in some respects, having a balcony back makes it feel even more like a real theater.
Oh, it does. I mean, that is. I mean, and it's just those seats are some of my favorite to sit up in the front couple rows.
There is a lot more downstairs, new public and performer spaces, and a refurbished first floor small stage.
Can I welcome you to Johnson Hall Opera House?
It all got a test drive of sorts a couple of weeks ago, with a show for volunteers and donors to test everything out.
And this dream has been around for 39 years. 39 years ago is when this project, the dream of this was going to happen, 1985, and here we are, 39 years later, and it's done, and so it's incredible.
For more than a century and a half, Johnson Hall has weathered the storms, real and man-made, the years of success and years when it looked like the end. And what was once a burden on this Gardiner street will now be a beacon for the city.
But it's going to bring a lot of people to the community to kind of look around and go, I think you'll find people that'll, I honestly, and we found it over the years, you'll find people that'll move here because they go, what a great community.
Now, finally, they have done it. Johnson Hall is ready and waiting for its share of the spotlight. Great to see that all come true as they've been dreaming for years. Now, we talked about those price increases. Johnson Hall does have some debt, but Samantha, Mike Micklin told us that he's confident. They're still raising money to pay that off, and he's confident that they will get that done maybe even by the end of this year. And speaking of Michael Micklin, Rob did a story on Johnson Hall 6 years ago. I had done one previously as well. In that story Rob did, Mike Micklin told him, our first act, even though he doesn't know it yet, will be Lyle Lovett.
Okay, and?
So he said that. So, almost. Their first act later this month is blues musician Robert Cray and his band, who's very good. But in May, Lyle Lovett is booked to play Johnson Hall, and you can just bet that Mr. Micklin, among others, will be sitting there with a great big smile seeing all this happen.
I bet, seeing everything come to fruition.
Yeah,
great
beautiful
stuff.
place.
Yes, it looks beautiful, and I can't wait to see people enjoy it.
Yeah,
awesome
absolutely.
stuff. Thanks, Dawn.